What's happening, y'all? What's happening? What's happening? So I am back in the lab. There's been some adjustments made, but I'm back in the lab and coming to you for another vlog from the day. Since my life is so eventful of late, and there's so many things to document with a flurry of activity, and I think what's happening is I'm being, prepared to be far more, outspoken and erudite and loquacious and all, bloviated. No, that's not the word for it. But just to be someone who is often queried and questioned and asked to give my opinions about things. So I'm going to be on camera more often since I have the time and since I'm basically alone out here in the woods. Um, this is just the way things are going. Especially considering my future political aspirations. So, um, I was just watching a Russell Brand takedown of the digital ID mandates or progress and eventual digital ID mandate in the UK, and very telling and very apocalyptic kind of fulfillment of scripture type of events happening over in the UK. And I thank Russell for his voice of clarity and his takedown of these concepts that we're here to worship God. We're here to stay human and build democracy, genuine democracy, localized democracy that values people and values community and values the land and values the environment, etc. And does not value corporate interest or Apple and Alphabet and Google and all these global conglomerates that just want power and tied in with the political machine, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Russell's far better at taking these things down than I am. I just want to mention that's also on my mind, and will continue to become more prevalent and prescient in my existence as I become someone who's outspoken about such things. However, my current scenario, my current situation, just demands that I respond to what's happening to me directly in this moment. I, for example, you'll notice some alterations in the lab. It's not as it's not as full. There have been critters while I was in town for 2 days. There were some large critters came in. I would suspect it was a small bear. Came in here. He broke my console, ripped my driver's seat to shreds. I'm on just the frame of it, like the box spring of the driver's seat. There's no seat. I have a pillow. I'm sitting on. Pretty sizable creature and pretty voracious and destructive. And I spent the last hour and a half before it got dark just kind of trying to tidy up. Finally got it to where I can sit in the car, and man, this thing was just after my whole shebang. I thought they broke my lights. Thank God they didn't break the little rainbow lights in here, or colored bike lights. I got enough light for the night, hopefully. So, with all that said, as a preamble to the dissertation and the discourse and the possibly even a sermon tonight, I got a lot to say. Not rehearsed, off the cuff, and just the vlog style here. I think the earlier, at 5:30 when I got back here and I saw what had taken place, transpired at camp, I was taken aback, but I did find some food. I found a can opener for my beans. I found some pepperoni that was safe in a leather bag that they didn't get to, and a small cheese sandwich, and so that's got me tided over. I'm feeling pretty good, stomach's full, and as mentioned earlier, rejoice, for the steps of a righteous man are ordered of God. So I'm do not run after these things, right? What you do not worry about what you should eat, what you should drink, what you should wear. The pagans run after these things, but your Father knows you need them. So just trust and obey, trust and obey. There's only one that I trust and obey, uh, quite literally, and I don't always obey, but I do my best. Obedience is I desire. Obedience is better than sacrifice, right? To actually listen to the voice. Um, the psalmist writes in the Psalm 119. Um, One of the verses is, "I have more insight than all my instructors, for I obey your commands." And the commands are to you specifically. They're directions, they're insights, they're visions you get in a dream or in prayer or in meditation, or even just while you're out walking and thinking and processing things. What should I do? What's the wisest course of action in this situation? For example, like today when I recovered my stolen bike, well, I was riding down Main Street, saw the bike at Plumas in front of the bar, the red and white bar in town, and it registered like, okay, well, I'm 99.9% certain that the young man who took the bike is in the bar and with friends. The bike is unlocked in front of the bar. All right, so let's go and secure the possession I have currently, which is my bike I was riding that I spent all my money to repair. By the way, I'm down. I have no money. I'm totally broke. It's just full confession. I'll be reliant tomorrow on the food bank to give me something to eat after 10 a.m. I got enough for breakfast, and that's it. I'm totally going on faith. So, okay, in this situation today, as far as application of wisdom and what's the proper course of action. So, immediately when I saw the bike, I started praying, like, Dad, I need some help. I need backup. I need some help. I noticed my friend Robert's bike was locked at the library, so I ran to Safeway and got a drink real quick, and then as I'm praying the whole way, I'm thinking, I'm on the bike, and I'm, one thing that helps with clarity of thought is physical activity. That's why like walking is great for your mind, and why Pacific Crest hikers are very prescient, very very clear thinking, and they see things properly. That's why Immanuel Kant walked so much. The town he was in would set the town clock by his daily walks. He was so regular in his walks. Walking and biking, these things are stirring the pot of your meat sack, your meat suit that you're in. And so all the chemicals and the enzymes and the neurotransmitters and the endorphins and everything's working together to make you think clearly, more clearer, and you will come upon a gestalt, a moment of clarity, a moment of zen, where you realize what you must do. And so on the way back from Safeway towards the library, I noticed where my friend's bike was. I was praying, Lord, I need help. And I need to run into Robert. He'll back me up. If we'll go into the bar and we'll confront these people and we'll get the bike. I mean, it's not worth a brawl for a $40 bike, or when it's a $100 bike, but I paid $40 for it. That's not worth that. But the principle of myself being disrespected and myself being, my property being taken, and what that means in this town for me currently, as I establish my reputation, etc. That means there's a current in town of disrespect, and a current of like, we can just take that guy's stuff. He's not going to do anything about it. And that needs to be that's far more important than the bike itself. That needs to be quelled. So I'm praying, I'm thinking all this through as I'm on the bike, and I get back to the library, and I'm kind of lit, kind of upset. I'm like, saw the bike again, riding by, just sitting there. And I walk over, and so I decide, because Robert's nobody found, I don't know where he's at, not responding to messages, etc. And so I decide, I'm just going to go take it. I'm going to go grab it. This is kind of funny, actually, a little sidebar. As I walk over towards Plumas from the library, around the corner, there's just a shovel leaned against the railing. And I grab it. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I need some protection, Lord. So one thing it says in Corinthians is he never gives you something more than you can handle. And in the temptation, when you're tempted, he will provide a way out that you can see in the middle of the temptation. The temptation was to walk into the bar with a fucking shovel, pardon my French, and handle business and take a few people down. That's actually was a real, in that moment, the temptation. Because obviously if I'm carrying a shovel, I'm going to do some damage. That's the intention. It's very clear by just carrying that. But I notice I'm walking. I'm okay. That's a lot, Dad. Are you gonna really let me do this? Like, really? Do I get to start wailing on people? What's going on? And I look across the street, and there's a lady doing gardening in this town little garden. And I'm like, oh, hey, is this your shovel? And she said, oh, yes, thank you. There's the way out. That's 1 Corinthians 10, verse 13, literally on display right there. That was the way out. I said, okay, well, I saw it over here on the railing. I didn't know whose it was. And I did confess. I said, well, by the way, across the street at the bar, I see my stolen bike, and I'm going to go get it. I'm going to confront the person who took it. So if anything happens in the bar, I hope it doesn't, but please, if anything happens, could you please have your phone at the ready? Because I don't want to be attacked by several men, trying to protect their stuff. So application of wisdom, application of in the moment. And at the moment, every moment is an eternity. Literally, every moment is an event that will resonate for eternity. I think we've lost touch with the concept that what we're doing every instant of every waking thought is a play that will reverberate into eternity. It is a test. It's a schoolroom. We're being tested, literally tested all the time with every possible choice you can make, every possible thought you can have, everything you say about your fellow man, everything you say, the kind of trash I was talking about this guy who took the bike. I know who did it. And the things I was saying about him, like, okay, am I going to back this up? Okay? So I'm being judged for all of this, and I'm going to go into the bar. I'm not going to go into the bar at this point. I'm just going to grab the bike. So in a moment of clarity, walk up, 2:45 in the afternoon, bam, take the bike. Start pedaling like mad. Notice immediately he'd scrubbed all the logos and all the paint. He had tweaked out on this bike and had adjusted the handlebars to where it was like, and the seat was at an angle like this. And it was just a really stupid person's way, a tweaker's way of adjusting the bike. And but I rode it. I rode fast, and I'm thinking, okay, God help me, God help me, God help me. Looking back, and I walked by. Before I got on the bike, I walked like a block away, and there's a guy sitting out in front of the cafe, and I'm like, hey, by the way, I just recovered my stolen bike, and if you see someone running, can you just holler? So I'm, people don't want to be involved in these kind of things. They don't want to get involved, but I'm protecting myself. So I ride it to a stash spot. I ride it to the gym and stash it behind the old pool in the weeds, and start walking back calmly because I'd pulled it off. I was actually pretty proud of myself. I can't let these people just walk over me. In fact, the lesson in church today, Luke 17, was if your brother wrongs you, don't just forgive him, but you go confront them. And if they confess, then you forgive them. If your brother wrongs you, you have to confront them. So this was me doing all that because I know who took the bike. I'm walking back to the library. Okay, it's about half a mile. Run into another homeless gentleman who's very kind. He's got his 3 dogs. And he's kind of a fixture in town. He sits at the gas station and just kind of waves, and he's just a really, really kind young man. And we had a conversation about it. I said, hey, I just recovered my bike. He said, I always see you on a different bike, and I was wondering about that. And I was like, yeah, so this is what went down. And if you see this guy, holler or something. And I don't want to, cause any. I don't want to be like making a freaking rift in town. I don't want to be, having brawls or whatever. I want to keep the peace. So I go back to the library, sitting there, still kind of waiting for Robert. And I got my music going. I'm in a kind of a vibe, and I'm like feeling really good about myself and what I had done. And the bike is stashed a half mile away behind the gym. And I just put up a short. Actually, if you saw the short, you know what I'm talking about. I put up a short about bike thieves, and we used to string them up and run them out of town, and tar and feather and all this. And lo and behold, as that short is uploading, the guy is walking up with a friend, and I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? And by the way, I grabbed a cedar branch from the tree that had fallen earlier in the week, and I'd broken, and I'd carved it a little bit, and I was like, I had it at the ready. I was like, I'm not going to get my ass kicked over this. He's like, yeah, what's up? What'd you take my bike for? Your bike? It's my bike. He's like, no, it ain't. No, it ain't. I'm like, I paid $40 for that at a yard sale. I worked hard for that, and it's my bike. I've been riding for a month, and you can't touch my shit. He says, I don't believe you paid $40 for a yard sale. Well, you want me to take you to Linda? over on Sierra Way, across from the mill or across from the fairgrounds. I'll show you exactly where I got it. He's like, all right. Well, I got my lock on the bike, man. I got my lock on the bike. Can I go get my lock? All right, we'll walk right now. I want to quell this shit. Put it in the ground. You know, you bury the hatchet. Bam. Let's get this done. And we don't interact anymore. You leave me alone. I leave you alone. Don't touch my shit. He's like, all right. That's fine. That's cool. And he agreed to that. That's fair. That's reasonable. Fair and reasonable to keep the peace. I'm not going to back down. I protect my shit, protect my property, protect my name, mostly my reputation, and that my stuff is secure now. My stuff is not to be bothered with, and I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to just lay down and, face down, ass up, and just take it. No. You got it all wrong if you think that's what I'm going to do here. So I walk. I say, okay, I hope you're hydrated. It's a bit of a walk. All right, yeah, okay. Yeah. By the way, you can't keep up with me walking. I don't know why not, but I'm walking. I don't care. He's slow. I'm going to get the bike. So I get the bike. It's like a 10-minute walk. I pick it up and I walk back towards him, and he's doing his little stroll in whatever. If you're watching this, dude, Jesse, maybe we're friends now. I don't know, but at least you were coming. You weren't. He didn't have his friend with him. I'll give him that. We were going to handle this. Take care of business. This is how it's done. This is how business is done. It's just rare in Quincy because people don't. This stuff doesn't happen in Quincy very often. But at the beach, this is a daily thing. You are a mediator. You are out there keeping the peace and keeping it together. So I respected that he came alone, and he was, he wanted his lock, his kryptonite lock, which is worth good money. And I didn't like that he had damaged the bike. It's not resellable now. I can use it, but it's not sellable, really. I can use it as an art piece and paint it or make it the village bicycle. I might just paint village bicycle. Everyone can get a ride, which is fine. I have my bike I need is fixed. So get a kind of a rambling story. If you like these stories, if you like my vibe and my presentation and my persona, keep watching. I have a lot of this stuff back in my back catalog. But that's the event of today, and that's the application of wisdom, and that's how I pray through things, and that's how I decide what to do in the moment. I don't have a formula. Rejoice for the steps of a righteous man are ordered of God, and they actually are. And so in this situation, I cleared my name. I looked him right in the eye and said, hey, man, because I knew what had motivated him to do it was they thought, the town had thought that I stole that bike because of the one woman who's spouting all kinds of lies. That's another subject. And I prayed as I'm walking back towards him, what do I say to this young man to confront him, to correct him, and also provide him an opportunity to make things right. And that's exactly what I did. I say, hey, just because you think something doesn't make it true, man. He's like, yeah, I know. I said, all right, man, shake on it. I'm appreciative that this didn't come to drawing blood between us. No hard feelings. Don't touch my shit. And we shook on it, and I rode the bike off. And he got his lock. Success. Great success, actually. Actually, better than I could have envisioned it going. And so the bike, now it's funny, I put the bike back where he stole it from, unlocked, and there it is right now at the library. So, again, the principle. A good name is better to be had than great riches. It's not about the bike. It's the principle of don't touch on the man's stuff. Thou shalt not steal. These principles are eternal, and they are sent down from the higher power. They're sent down. These are higher principles. Thankfully, there was success in the situation. Thankfully, that should go a long way to clearing my name in town, actually, because the people that are willing to do that, they're waiting to see if you'll step up and be a man about it. I was willing to kick some ass. I was willing to. I didn't want to. I grabbed the shovel thinking I'm going to go into that bar and do some damage. I'm not kidding. I've never done that. I've never taken the initiative and kicked some ass. I'm not saying I never will. It does give a clue as to who I am. Again, the Solomon identity, the man of peace, king of peace and wisdom. I don't get my hands dirty. There are other people that do the dirty work. That's the template. That's the standard operating procedure, is that I just let people know this needs to be done, and they do it. Like the capo is my nickname. Capo is the one who does the dirty work. I don't do the dirty work. I come in as this Solomon character, as this king character, and I come in and excise the wound of towns. I excise the most dangerous character, and it's happened dozens of times. I could document all this over the years. People who are a real problem will come to me, and we interact. Over time they confess. I either put them up, I tune up their bikes, I feed them, I show them basic human kindness. If your enemy is hungry, give him something to eat. If he's thirsty, give him something to drink. I follow these principles. So, and every time this has happened, probably a dozen different men, and it's always men, that will end up confessing to me to absolve themselves of the guilt of what they've done, for the guilt that's on their spirit, and they make a full confession to me. It's happened a lot. So I'm not sure where all that was going, but just so y'all know that this is like my job, and I do come into towns, and I do dig around, and I do kind of from the inside out. I start healing like an antivirus to come in and like kill the viruses and get rid of them. Not kill, like that's a strong word. The antivirus in the body kills the virus. I don't come into town and start killing people. I come into town and excise the wound, expose and demonstrate and draw out, and that's what a king does. So I'm being prepared obviously for something great. This little minor thing about it with a little $40 bike and the town gang trying to show some dominance over me and me not backing down. These are important principles. I'm clearing my name, and this will go a long way. So that's all well and good. I just wanted to relate that story. I'm making a lot of videos lately. This is a flurry of activity. This is a very intense period of my life. I'm also under attack from the animals. I got the window boarded up with a bicycle rim and some duct tape, and there's nothing coming in through that, hopefully, and sticks. And I really hope nothing's coming in, because this time of year where the bear are out and they're hungry and they're obviously willing to do all kinds of damage, and I'm living and learning. So that's tonight's update from the lab. I pray for peace and wisdom in this world. Pray for clarity. I pray for Portland right now. I love Portland. There's a lot going on right now. And the president, Donald Trump, just released troops onto the Antifa in Portland. So this is a clash. That's good. I'm a little bit sleepy. I'm going to get some rest and pick up where I left off tomorrow with tidying up camp. I hopefully get everything in the car. Get the fuck out of here. Pardon my French. I got to fix that. I'm working on it. Yeah, as you can tell from yesterday's video, my confrontation, I have a foul mouth. And I say what's on my mind. So, not much of a filter. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. If you're watching this far, please, if you're even casually interested, just subscribe. I've gone from 121 subscribers, 130 this week. So each person that subscribes, it's a big win for me. I really do appreciate it. I got to get to 500 at least to apply for monetization. This is gonna be my longest video. I might start getting to where it's like half an hour per video. I don't know. I mean, what else am I doing? What else have I got going on? Not much. I can read a book. I can listen to music. This is what I'm doing. I'm building a catalog of an online catalog, a virtual catalog of who I am, my identity, my philosophy, my persona, my operating program, and as these things will help. This example helps the world. I know that because it helps me. I'm in it too. I'm not beyond reproach. I'm not, without sin, and I'm not perfect yet. I'm working on it. I do love you guys. Please hit that subscribe button or whatever. The old standard. Smash that like. Hit the subscribe. Bang that notification bell. God bless America. Over and out.